We've been trying to figure this out for the whole year, man. We thought this was defense was our identity, and it's not looking like it at all. We don't know what our identity right now. Me and Mike was talking about. I think we soft as hell, like as a team, internally. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not to the other team, but like internally, like we soft. Like we can't talk to each other. Just a bunch of little kids. Just like we playing with a bunch of little kids, like everybody, like the whole team.
I did a poll when the New York Knicks and Minnesota Timberwolves did their trade centered around Karl-Anthony Towns and Julius Randle. I asked y'all who won the trade. 272 of you voted. 60% said that Minnesota Timberwolves won. I found that interesting. I was leaning towards New York Knicks at the time. I still am. I'm going to get into that aspect of the trade and how it's looking with Julius Randle. But first, let me start with the Anthony Edwards clip everybody just heard. One of the things that stood out to me is him saying we thought defense was our identity. It turns out it's not. I want to read you some statistics to really show maybe why that's a bit surprising he said that. They're ranked 10th in least points allowed in the NBA. They're ranked 3rd in the least three-pointers given up. And they're ranked 11th when it comes to opponents' field goal three-point percentage, basically meaning the best teams that hold their opponents to a low shooting percentage when it comes to shooting threes. Now, when it comes to overall opponent field goal percentage, the Timberwolves are ranked 19th at 47%. So it seems opposing teams, when they face the Timberwolves, are shooting overall a good percentage from the field. When I look at these stats, you're holding teams to the least points allowed at 10th, 3rd for the least three-pointers made, opponent field goal three-point percentage at 11th, but you're giving up 47%. It sounds like to me you guard the three-point line really great. However, on the flip side, you're probably giving up a lot of easy baskets around the rim, paint scoring, seeing as in today's NBA, not a lot of players even take mid-range shots to begin with. And to no surprise, the Timberwolves are ranked near the bottom at 4.7 blocks per game in the league. They have a multiple-time Defensive Player of the Year award winner in Rudy Gobert at center. Not to blame everything on him. I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of when I watch their games. I haven't watched all of it. I've watched a few and obviously a lot in the past. I don't know if he's an elite rim protector, somebody who's just up there. He is good, no doubt. I'm just saying on that side of the basketball, everything starts and ends with him, period. There's a reason why the Timberwolves gave up, at least 4 picks, I think it was, just to get him alongside multiple players. That wasn't because he was an offensive threat or they thought he would even enhance the offense either. To his defense, though, no pun intended, he's a big man who's playing in this era where he has to guard the perimeter a lot more. He's so much more effective when he could actually just roam the paint, kind of play like a free safety style of defense. He can't do that if every single team he's facing, or almost every single team, is in a small ball lineup against him. Now, let me show you this clip, and I'm going to slowly move off of Rudy and transition into Julius Randle and the overall team with the Timberwolves.
All tied up in 95. And that was the wildest nonchalant 3 seconds I've seen. Gobert really didn't make an effort to get out of the paint. I don't know if he was frustrated he didn't get the ball, but he did not get out of the lane.
Seeing that play was kind of funny. I remember Charles Barkley was explaining, as a superstar of the team, when he called for the ball in the post, he expected to get it. And if he didn't, he would just stand there literally in the key until the ref whistled him for a 3-second violation. However, as I said before, Rudy is not here for his offense. And as a matter of fact, Julius Randle had the mismatch. Jakob Poeltl was guarding him. I could tell that he wanted to take him one-on-one, probably beat him off the dribble and get to an easy basket. Rudy should have really cleared out. As you see, Anthony Edwards was really upset. It goes back to that first clip that you saw where he's talking about, man, we can't even really talk to each other or communicate. That whole play shows there's some chemistry issues going on with the Timberwolves. Even look at Julius Randle's body language. He didn't signal to Gobert, yo, clear out, I got this. He just stood there and literally dribbled the ball, looking at him like, hey, what are you doing? Which leads me into the Julius Randle trade. Last year, that may have been Karl-Anthony Towns at the three-point line. As we know, he's a good three-point shooter as a big man. Jakob would have been guarding him. I think most likely he throws the ball down low to Rudy Gobert, and they play like a high-low kind of offense. They do that sometimes when they were on the team with each other. When Julius Randle, he handles the ball a lot, also likes to create his own shot off the dribble. Unlike a Karl-Anthony Towns who could spot up a lot more or maybe go down low himself and call for it, his teammates got to understand that. You're dealing with someone just like Anthony Edwards who's going to need the ball in his hand to really play make and do some magic. That's why I'm on record stating I like Karl Anthony Towns better when it comes to fit, chemistry-wise, his game and what he brings. Those two things that I mentioned go hand in hand. With Julius Randle, in my opinion, he has more upside to potentially give a star like Anthony Edwards a break, with him being able to go get his own shot without a set play being ran for him, or him coming off the ball, a bunch of screens, needing to get in a certain position in order to score in the first place. Here's some more stats I want to throw at y'all just to really solidify my point. The Timberwolves are ranked 24th in assists per game as a team. They are ranked 18th for total points per game in the NBA. They are also ranked as the 11th team that gives up the most turnovers per game as well. So hearing your young superstar talk about a defensive identity first and foremost, that is great. It's a good signal of what kind of mindset that he's in. It's still clear though that offensively there's some things that are missing that also need to be talked about. Like for example, the Timberwolves are ranked 6th in 3-point attempts. They are ranked 7th in 3-pointers made. That 3-point style of offense they're relying on is not really translating into the best offense. As I just told you, they are 18th, closer to the bottom when it comes to total points per game as a team. The Anthony Edwards comments came after a loss to the Sacramento Kings. They did not have DeMar DeRozan, so you could take that into consideration as well. Malik Monk, however, scored 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists. I know Malik Monk's a scorer. To get 9 assists and 8 rebounds as well, Malik is not really known for that part of his game. I noticed too that the Timberwolves got out-rebounded pretty bad in this game, 47-33. Gobert played 37 minutes, only had 7 rebounds. You're going to need a lot more than that. He did have 4 blocks, which is really great. My last point, the previous season, the Timberwolves won 56 games, finished 3rd in the West. They made it to the Western Conference Finals as a franchise for the first time in 20 years since Kevin Garnett back in 2004. You end up losing to a good Dallas Mavericks team. Why then, shortly after, trade away one of your main pieces after such a successful run? You got to let that keep going a little bit more. Yes, I understand Karl Anthony Towns was with the team for almost 10 years. This is a new era with Anthony Edwards. You're not asking Cat to be your main focal point of the offense and lead your team. He could play more of a secondary role. They were in a perfect position, in my opinion. It's still early in the season. We'll see how this all unfolds. Hit me up in the comment section. Let me know all your thoughts and opinions about what Anthony Edwards is saying. Who do you believe he may be referring to when it comes to internally being soft and not having that open communication, you could say, with each other? Because he did, ironically, have this conversation, as he said, with Mike Conley, a veteran point guard, quintessential point guard that is at his position, who I think should be really starting for the team. Most likely, the offense would look a lot more smooth with him directing traffic. I do know Timberwolves are probably looking at it like we got to move on eventually since he is an older player in the league. Anyways, hit me up in the comment section as I was mentioning. Like, share, and subscribe. And as always, salute for listening. Peace.